Hello, everybody, and welcome to Action Network's 2022 NCAA Tournament Bracket Breakdown. I'm Anthony Dabbundo alongside my pal, Charlie DiSturco. We are very excited. The bracket has been released. It's the day after. We've had about 12 hours to look it over. I don't think we've slept much trying to break down these matchups, getting ready for the big dance, which starts in just 3 days. We're going to talk about some upsets. Everybody loves the classic 5-12, the 4-13, the 6-11, all those typical matchups that end in chaos and lead to upsets and maybe a potential Cinderella or two. Charlie, let's start in the West region. Gonzaga is the 1 seed. I don't think they're going to be upset in the first round by Georgia State, although Georgia State probably the best 16 seed we've ever seen. Should have been a 14. But when we look at this region, there are some juicy matchups, but where are you going for a potential upset?
Yeah, I absolutely love Davidson in this matchup against Michigan State. We got a 10 seed against a 7 seed. Davidson's offense is incredible, to say the least. It's well-balanced. They're first in off the dribble threes. They're 10th in transition offense. They just kind of do everything well. They have 3 players that shoot the 3 ball about 45%. They really are the better team in this matchup here. Michigan State is actually 341st in defending transition, which is where I think Davidson holds the edge. And, well, if you look at shot quality, Michigan State's actually 16-17, according to them, as far as how the games should have played out record-wise. Despite ranking 18th in three-point percentage, this Michigan State team, Tom Izzo, always finds a way in March to bring this team together and make them a March Madness squad. But I think they're one of the most overrated teams in the country right now. Obviously, they're an under 500 squad for shot quality. They're 21-12 overall. Tyson Walker also battling that injury, didn't play the second half in an eventual loss. I just don't see this Michigan State team really putting it all together. They rely too heavily on comebacks and fall behind early. They get very lucky as far as shooting the 3 and defending the 3 well. And I don't think that that's going to happen against a Davidson team that is so well balanced. And we get a Foster Loyer revenge game. And I think Foster Loyer is going to show up. I think Henry Lee and the rest of this Davidson squad are live dogs and could even give Duke a run for their money in the second round.
For sure. The way Duke's defended the perimeter of late against Syracuse, against Miami, and against Virginia Tech, definitely concerns for the Blue Devils. Probably not going to get that dreamed Izzo-K matchup that I think the bracket people were hoping to get when they put Michigan State and Duke in the same region. For me, you look at this region, New Mexico State is a mid-major I like a lot, but they don't rebound well. They don't have a ton of size, and that's a big issue going up against Connecticut. So easy pass there for me. Vermont is another interesting case. Everybody got on the Colgate train last year against Arkansas, but Arkansas has so much athleticism and so much speed and so much ability to run that I think Vermont might have some issues with that matchup. Would have preferred a lot of different teams for Vermont. Even if Vermont had gotten, say, UConn, I think that would have been a really interesting game. And maybe New Mexico State, Arkansas, they would have been better paired off for potential upsets. The one team I would probably look toward in this region, whoever wins that Rutgers-Notre Dame game, the way Notre Dame shoots, the way Rutgers defends, the only problem going up against Alabama can be hot and cold. They're very hit or miss. The Rutgers-Notre Dame winner is going to have to fly from Dayton all the way to San Diego and play on a short rest, whereas Alabama will be rested. Alabama loves to run. That's a concern, but that would be the spot I would look toward. We obviously don't know who the opponent is yet. I'd probably prefer that it be Rutgers, because they can match physically and guard the Alabama guards better and protect the rim better than Notre Dame, who doesn't really stop anybody. But Rutgers over Alabama will definitely be one I'll be looking to play if the Scarlet Knights can get past the Irish on Tuesday. As we look, and we'll switch regions here, we'll go down to the east, bottom left corner of the bracket. Baylor's the 1 seed. They're a little vulnerable, I think, a little injured. Not expecting a lot of people to have Baylor in their Final Fours because they're only going about 7 deep right now. This is the region where I think there's a couple really interesting matchups on the bottom half of the bracket. And I'll start for this one. Virginia Tech is playing Texas. Texas is probably the best 6 seed in the field when you look at their advanced metrics. They defend really well. They take away the middle. But against Virginia Tech, they don't need to go to the middle to score. The way they've been playing, the way they've been moving the ball. I think this is a great coaching matchup. I know everybody's out on Chris Beard because it didn't quite come together this year. I still think he's a good coach. He's a good game planner. Mike Young is about as good of an offensive mind in college basketball as there is. They're going to run a ton of ball screens. They're going to shoot a lot of threes. And those are the kind of teams that I like in upset situations. A little biased because it was all over the Hokies in the ACC tournament, but the way they slow it down, the way they grind it down in the half court, and the improvement of their guards, Storm Murphy and Sean Padula over the course of the season is really impressive. I think they're going to win outright. They're going to be a popular, trendy upset pick. So beware of that after their run in the AC tournament. But that's the one that really sticks out to me. Again, we don't know who the matchup's going to be for Wyoming and Indiana. Think that Wyoming could give Marys a game, but that's where I'm looking. Where are you looking as far as the East goes with regards to upsets?
Yeah, well, you just kind of said it right there. I think Wyoming has the chance to take down Indiana and St. Mary's. I just think this is a great matchup for Wyoming. I mean, they run their offense through Graham Ike and Hunter Maldonado. They love to run out of the post. And this Indiana team is a one-man band led by Trace Jackson Davis. And somehow, some way, they have been able to keep games close in the Big Ten tournament. They came back from 17 against Michigan. They beat Illinois. They blew that late lead against Iowa, and then Jordan Bohannon hit the game-winning bank three. But this is just an area where I see Wyoming using their size to really dominate down low. I don't think the Indiana can really defend Graham Ike. And to tack on, Wyoming runs the ball out of the post the most, and through Graham Ike and Hunter Maldonado, who thrives in that interior. But the Hoosiers are also around like the 200 mark in both catch and shoot threes and off the dribble threes. And while Wyoming isn't a great shooting team all around, they actually aren't that bad from beyond the arc as far as advanced metrics go. They're around 90th in catch and shoot threes and 128th in off the dribble threes for shot quality. So I just think that this is a bad matchup for Indiana, because I think this Wyoming team is a slept on squad. And then when it comes to St. Mary's is due for some pretty bad or significant offensive aggression. They're 346th in off the dribble threes defensive wise. They're 247th in catch and shoot threes. I just talked about how Wyoming really isn't that bad despite their 3-point percentage as a squad. I just think Wyoming is a live dog. Hunter Maldonado always seems to show up in these big games. Graham Ike is one of the best big men in the Mountain West and is going to make his name known. And I really just like Wyoming. I think that they can make a run here. I don't know if they can really make a run past St. Mary's, because it's going to be a lot to go from playing game to first round of 64 to then a round of 32. But I do like the Cowboys here.
Yeah, can't disagree on my Cowboys. Think they have a tricky matchup with Indiana, but if they get past them, they will have some advantages against St. Mary's, especially in the post. Let's switch to the South, the absolutely loaded region, the best 5 seed, the best 4 seed, the best 3 seed in the tournament based on the advanced metrics, based on the power ratings, and the second best 1 seed in Arizona usually tends to mean there's going to be fewer upsets. And I know everybody's going to have UAB in Chattanooga against Houston and Illinois, but where are you going for your upset in the South? And I have a feeling that I'll be agreeing.
Yeah, we're going with our Rams. Colorado State against Michigan. I mean, I don't think Michigan should have made the NCAA tournament. They're very much an average squad. Their guards are not that good. They run their offense through Hunter Dickinson. And that's their biggest question, is how they will match up with the size with Dickinson and Diabate in the interior. But this Colorado State offense is electric. They're 14th in half court, 24th at finishing the rim. David Roddy is the do-it-all big man that we fell in love with this past couple seasons. Isaiah Stevens has really grown into an elite scorer and playmaker. They don't turn the ball over, and Michigan doesn't force many turnovers. I just don't think that people realize how good this Colorado State team is. The Mountain West is a stacked region. The Big Ten always seems to kind of underperform in March, and I don't really think Michigan deserved a spot in the NCAA tournament. And I think Colorado State, they're sitting around 3-point underdogs, 2.5-point underdogs right now. They're worth a look at the money line. I think that they can make a run in March. It's just a matter of how they can combat the size down low.
Yeah, I agree. And Michigan, Colorado State struggles with teams who can switch everything, teams who are able to apply a lot of ball pressure on the perimeter. We saw that with San Diego State, who really took their offense out of rhythm. But Michigan can't guard ball screens, and they can't really apply ball pressure. They don't turn you over, like you said. Colorado State's going to get a lot of rim looks. Nico Medved is an offensive mastermind. He's going to be able to pick apart what is a very mediocre Michigan defense. I think there will be points in this game, but the matchup inside with Dickinson and Diabate is concerning, but I'm not too worried about it, because I do think at the other end, Colorado State has equally offensive advantages, getting to the rim, getting open looks from 3. They're going to be able to pick apart a Michigan team that I think is pretty overrated as well. I would have had them in the last 4 in. I think they had enough quality wins to get in. They played a tough schedule in the non-con, but very inconsistent all year. Colorado State wins a lot of close games. And I know it tends to be a regressive indicator, but they don't turn it over. They shoot free throws well, and they have a lot of experience. So I think the Rams are a live dog. And I think a lot of people are going to have Michigan because they see the names and they say, oh, Michigan as an 11-6, people like to pick those upsets. But I'm not quite buying in on the Wolverines with Juwan Howard and the boys. Anywhere else in this bracket you're looking, I maybe, Loyola's favored as a 10-7. I'll probably have Loyola. But otherwise, I think this region's a lot of chalk because I think the top seeds are really, really good teams. There's a lot of teams I would have bet Chattanooga against as an underdog and maybe, expected them to win that game. But Illinois has, it's almost a buy low on Illinois at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I think UAB and Chattanooga, I would have loved to back them if they had a better draw. But I mean, Houston, I think it's going to be a mixed bag with the Cougars, but I just don't think UAB matches up too well against that defense. And yeah, like you said, if everyone's going to be on Chattanooga because they saw Illinois lose against Indiana, Illinois is going to win. They're going to be fine. And yeah, it's just a tough draw for this region here.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me if Illinois lost. They're very inconsistent. Yeah. And Curbelo is the classic up and down point guard. And if the shots aren't going in, and Chattanooga can match physically with Coburn, with DeSouza. So, I don't hate it for Chattanooga. If you really, I don't see UAB. I think Houston's too disciplined, too good. Houston's very good at beating teams they're better than. They do all year. They beat the hell out of them, really. But yeah, Chattanooga, I could kind of see if Illinois has a bad game. If Illinois plays its normal level, I think they're able to get through here and get to the second round. Let's switch regions again. Last region, and this one, I mean, we call it the luck region. We can call it the overrated region. Whatever you want to call it, you can call it. But the 2 seed is Auburn, and they are 3-4 in their last 7 games away from Auburn. 3 of those wins came in the final minute or overtime, and then they had 4 losses to Florida, Texas A&M, Arkansas. They have not played well down the stretch. Lost to Tennessee as well. Wisconsin is a 3 seed. We have injury concerns with Johnny Davis and his foot. He did not play well against Michigan State in the Big Ten quarters. They are another team. They've won a lot of close games this year. And then the 4 seed is Providence. Everybody knows about Providence. We don't have to say it anymore, but they've won a lot of close games. They're a little overrated. And then the 5 seed is almost a dark horse now because Iowa's played so well. They're everybody's favorite dark horse in that region. Where are you looking for upsets in the Midwest?
Yeah, I mean, I really wish Auburn got a harder draw. I mean, they're going to just walk into that Elite Eight. But I think that the area that the game that I'm looking at the most is the luck box that is Providence against South Dakota State. I mean, the Jackrabbits offense is unbelievable. They're the best 3-point shooting team in the country. They're top 10 in 2-point percentage. I get it. They play in the Summit. They have dominated every team they basically played in that region. And we say it every time. And I feel like it's a broken record at this point. Providence is the luckiest team in the country. KenPom ranks them number 1 in luck percentage. I mean, somehow they win these close games that they don't deserve to win, or I guess they do deserve to win, but somehow, some way they come out of it and win. The only thing I am concerned about is how the South Dakota State defense is going to match up with Nate Watson and guys like Al Durham and Jared Bynum. Their defense is not good at all, but I think that they have the offense to kind of go shot for shot with Providence here. I think that's going to be on the more high scoring side because both defenses are so at times, but yeah, I mean, I think that, you're looking at 2.5. Everyone in the public is going to be on Providence. They're going to see this. They're going to see the whole 25-5 record and be like, oh, they're only drawing this much against a team in the Summit League. Well, that team in the Summit League is pretty damn good. So I like South Dakota State here. I think that they can pull off the upset and they're a live dog.
I certainly agree. South Dakota, last year's Summit League team, I'd say they did pretty well in the NCAA tournament. Oral Roberts making it to the Sweet 16. They can score. They have guys everywhere. They run a lot of ball screen actions, a lot of action there. And that's an area where Providence was really exposed by Creighton. They were exposed by Villanova. So those kind of teams that have run a lot of ball screens and gotten to the rim and are able to get open threes off of that have thrived against this Providence defense. I'm a little worried about the physicality mismatch, right, but we're talking upsets here. I like South Dakota State. And either way, I'm going to have Iowa in my Sweet 16. So I don't mind picking a little 4-13 upset for some fun because it's not going to break my bracket if the Friars end up winning this game, because I do think Iowa has a pretty good draw to the Sweet 16. Although don't sleep on the Spides, the Arachnids, looking for a little tournament run as the oldest team in the tournament. But let's go to my upset pick. and I'm going a little deeper, going 3-14, Wisconsin and Colgate. I wanted to bet Colgate last year in the NCAA tournament, and they got Arkansas, and it was a brutal matchup, and they got up early. They were up 10 early on the Hogs, and then the Hogs pressed, they ran, and they wore down Colgate, and that was not a great matchup with the physicality and the athleticism edge that the Hogs had. Wisconsin does not have that edge. Colgate is the number 2. We just talked about South Dakota State, number 1 shooting team. Colgate's number 2. They shoot the 3 ball as well as anybody. Wisconsin, very poor from beyond the arc. They do not shoot the ball well. They're 32% from 3, near the bottom of the Big Ten. That's the great equalizer. Colgate can make a lot of threes. They can take you out of your offensive rhythm. This team is dangerous, and Wisconsin doesn't really have the advantages athletically to dominate them or to come back into this game with pressure or to run. They play slow. So I'm expecting Colgate to be able to dictate the pace a little bit, and I'm expecting Colgate to make a bunch of threes. And if they do that, they're going to be very live underdogs. I think they're 7.5, 8-point underdogs. I think if you're looking, every year there's like a 14 or a 15 where you're like, I really like this matchup. This year I circled 2 teams, and it was Georgia State and it was Colgate. Those are the 2 deeper seeds. I'm like, oh, these 2 teams could make a little bit of noise. Georgia State gets Gonzaga, so they're not going to, but Colgate gets an overrated Wisconsin who's in the 30s and KenPom for a reason, despite being a 3 seed. I think if you're looking for a bracket buster, that's the team. And that whole pod, really, LSU, Iowa State, Wisconsin, Colgate. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if any of those teams made it to the Sweet 16.
Just depends on Johnny Davis's health, I think. I think that's what it comes down to. And if he looks like he did against Michigan State, I don't hate the Colgate play.
If he has a bad game, Wisconsin is in a lot of trouble.
Yes.
And I'm sure there will be plenty of other big seeds who are in a lot of trouble at some point over the course of Thursday and Friday. We were just breaking down some of our favorite upsets. There will be more. And hopefully we get a great NCAA tournament. Thanks everybody for watching. And please enjoy, like, and subscribe all of our content ahead of March Madness, which we are just days away from.